Chapter 9. Red. If only this little punk Uliana could see what Bridget was going to turn into, she would never mess with her again. But come to think of it, I've never heard of Uliana before. Maybe my mom did show her who's boss. The girls caught up to their mothers inside. How's Uli doing? Bridget asked. I feel so terrible. I should go to apologize. Don't, Ella said. She did it to herself, and it serves her right. She's always bullying us. The door opened, stalling the conversation, and Prince Charming walked in. Ella, that was amazing. You ladies bested Uliana. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. That makes you braver than I am. And I'm a prince. He turned to Red and Chloe. Though I don't really like to push the royal angle. Yet you always find a way, Ella said stiffly. Charming grinned at her attitude and turned once more to Red and Chloe. You're the new girls, right? I'm Charming. That's debatable, Ella said. He ignored her dig and continued speaking to Red and Chloe. And you guys picked the right time to show up because it's castle coming week, he said. He tried to catch Ella's eye, but no luck. She seemed to be intentionally avoiding his gaze. Castle coming is an outdated, elitist tradition, Ella said. Wait, so does that mean you're not, Charming started, squeezing into a super expensive dress and painful shoes? No thanks, Ella said. Charming tried to hide his disappointment. Right, well, if you happen to change your mind, I'll see you there. He turned and took off down the hall. Ella watched him, her expression unreadable. Hey, Ella, he seemed very interested in your plans for the festival, Chloe said. Was I sensing some chemistry? No. Okay, yeah, everyone loves him. And sure, he's gorgeous and he seems nice, but you know how royalty is. She quickly corrected herself. Except you, Bee. You're different. Chloe stared at her mother in disbelief. How her parents had ever ended up together was starting to seem like a mystery to her. Bridget sighed longingly. I just wish someone was that interested in going with me. Everyone already has plans, so, she explained to Red. Ella looked at her with a sly smile. Bridget, will you go to Castle Coming with me? But you just said, Bridget started. I despise everything it stands for, but if we go as friends, maybe it won't be totally awful. Ecstatic, Bridget squealed. We have to go try on dresses right now. We only have 2 days. She spun into Ella's arms. I can't. I have to get back home. But maybe later? Okay, said Bridget, with a smile still stuck on her face. Nothing was going to ruin her excitement. Bridget squeezed Ella again, then hurried up the stairs to the dorms above. I'd better get home, Ella said. She made her way outside, leaving Red and Chloe to share a look. They turned on their heels and walked deeper into the first floor of the building. 2 days until my mom gets pranked, Red said. That's not enough time, Chloe said, panicked. It's gonna have to be, Red said. Searching for a private place to talk, the girls headed through an opening in the foyer to an empty music room. Red, agitated, moved through the space with Chloe next to her. I can't believe my mom was so sweet. Red passed by an organ and dragged her hand across its keys, setting it off. Chloe hurried to muffle the noise with her own hands as best she could. Tell me about it, Chloe said. My mom's supposed to be the most perfect, gracious queen ever. Ella seems like she can't even stand royalty. Yeah, and you know the craziest thing of all? Red asked. They were best friends, both girls cried at the same time. They stood in mutually stunned silence for a moment. It was so weird when they were on the same page. Okay, now the question is, how do we stop Uliana before Castle Coming? Chloe said. First, we have to figure out what she's planning. Bugs in Bridget's dress, or something with snakes. Ugh, so many good options, Red mused. She knocked her hand into a set of hanging chimes, and the noise echoed in the empty music room. Once again, Chloe rushed to silence them. So let's find out more about Uliana, Chloe said. You think my mom might know? Maybe. Plus, she's closest to Bridget, so she'll know her weaknesses. And exactly how to stab her in the back, Red said. She lifted a mallet, ready to bang it against the drum, but Chloe caught her arm and gently stopped her. Chloe squinted at her with confusion and curiosity. You have some serious intimacy issues. So, away from Oradon Prep, a sprawling manor that clearly once had been very grand, loved now, sat covered in thick vines and shuttered by dark, filthy windows. Red and Chloe made their way closer to the house, running through all they'd learned during their wild day at Merlin Academy. So wait, that girl, Uliana, is Uma's aunt? Asked Red. Remind me never to get sent to the principal's office, said Chloe. She looked around at their surprising surroundings. Is this the right house? This place could use a paint job, said Red, or a bulldozer. But they stepped up to the large and intimidating front door anyway, and after a beat, Chloe knocked. Ella answered, holding a duster and looking very displeased to see them. Behind her, the entryway was disarray. Ella tried her best to block their view of the mess, but it was too late. What are you guys doing here? Ella asked, frantic. We came to see you, Chloe said cheerfully. But Ella wasn't able to respond before a window opened above, and Ella's severe-looking evil stepmother poked her head out. The woman shouted, Who's there? Just some girls from school, Ella yelled up to her. Get back to work or no supper, her stepmother reminded her. With a kathwunk, the stepmother shut the window and disappeared back inside the house. Ella cringed, painfully embarrassed to have had anyone see how her stepmother treated her. Sorry, my stepmom is, she started. A total witch? Red suggested. I get it. My mom never lets me have friends over. Or have friends. Really? Ella brightened slightly at Red's words, feeling better now that she knew she was around someone who could relate. Chloe was shocked to see that Red was having an easier time bonding with her mom than she was. Okay, you guys can stay, but you have to help with the chores, Ella said. The girls followed her inside, surprised to see just how cluttered the house was. Ella hauled a bucket and some scrub brushes into the massive tiled entryway of the manor. The floors were caked with dirt and grime. She handed Chloe a mop and Red a duster. There you go, she said. The floor needs mopping and over there needs dusting. You do all the housework? Chloe asked seriously. Yeah, all on me, Ella said. Red set off to the spot Ella had pointed at, and Chloe tried to get to work. Am I doing this right? She asked, but as soon as she did, she slipped on the wet floor in her glass boots. I think it's time to lose the glass shoes, Red said. But these were from my mom. They were a reward, Chloe whined. A reward for what? Red asked. For volunteering, being good at school, and being a good person. Does it really count as being a good person if you're getting a reward for it? Chloe stopped in her tracks. She had never thought of it that way. She never had to question whether she truly was a good person. Before she could spiral too deeply into her thoughts, Red changed the subject, ready to get down to business. So, Ella, that thing with Uliana at school. Pretty wild, huh? Seriously, she's as bad as Ursula, as Ella said. At Red's questioning look, she continued, Uliana's older sister, the worst bully the school has ever seen. One time she turned all the freshmen into frogs, and now Uliana thinks she has to be even meaner to try and live up to her reputation, Ella said. But why does Uliana have to have it out for Bridget? Bridget is so nice, Chloe said. Exactly, Red said. Bullies love an easy target. Bridget is weak. Ella scoffed. You think Bridget is weak? Confused, Red paused. Uliana is mean to everyone. Most people just stay out of her way. But no matter how nasty Uliana gets, Bridget keeps trying to be friends. That's what Uliana can't stand, Ella said. You're saying Bridget is strong because she's nice? Red asked. The idea went against everything her mother had taught her. Bridget is the strongest person I know. She's kind even when people are awful to her. You know how hard that is, Ella said. Red stopped working then, totally shaken by the revelation. What were the chances when that day had started that Cinderella herself would be teaching Red to see the idea of strength in a whole new light? The thought was laughable. I never thought about it, Red shifted gears again, then. Say, we wanted to find Uliana. Where do you think she'd be? Probably the Black Lagoon. That's where the VKs hang out. Lost in her thoughts, Chloe turned around, absent-mindedly knocking over a vase. It crashed to the floor. All the girls froze in place, not daring to breathe. Maybe it would be okay. Maybe no one had heard. But then, from a distant room, a bone-chilling shriek of rage filled the space. What was that? Ella's evil stepmother yelled. Nothing, stepmother, Ella called back. Quick, sweep it into the fireplace, and she'll never know, Red said, motioning toward the hearth. It was an honest mistake, said Chloe, but Ella frantically started sweeping the shards of the vase into the fireplace anyway. Ella's stepmother rushed into the room, a scowl already on her face. Chloe stepped forward, ready to take the blame. It was my fault, but I'm very sorry, and it won't happen again. After Chloe's confession, Ella's evil stepmother zoned in on the fireplace and spotted the broken shards. She was livid, not at all understanding like Chloe thought she would be. To Ella, her stepmother said, You let a stranger into my house and let her break my beautiful things? Unacceptable. But I said I was sorry, Chloe said, shocked. Sorry doesn't buy me a new vase, she turned to Ella. You can kiss Castle Coming goodbye. You are grounded. She reached out and touched the frayed edge of Ella's sleeve. And tonight, you can sleep in the barn. She marched out, calling for Ella's stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, as she did. Anastasia! Drizella! Where are you? It's time for your dress fitting. Ella, I'm so sorry, Chloe said, astounded by what had just happened. Sorry doesn't get me ungrounded before Castle Coming. Next time, don't be such a princess. But that was so unfair, Chloe said. Ella whirled on Chloe then, finally out of patience with the annoying new girl. You know what's unfair? My mom died when I was so little I barely even remember her. My dad got remarried, but then he died too. Since then, this is the only family I've known, and no matter how good I am, they still treat me like dirt. So yeah, it's unfair, because life isn't fair. Just leave. Chloe was speechless. Irritated, Ella started picking up the broken shards. Chloe wanted to help, but Red ushered her away. We should give her a little time, Red said. So Chloe let Red turn them back toward Merlin Academy.